Okay. Are you able to see the slides? Yes, function of the individual hormones. Okay. So the first one, like the homeostasis and the maintenance of the internal environments. For example, you can take the homeostasis of the calcium homeostasis. There is a different hormones which help in the maintenance of the calcium level. Like calcium level is 9 to 11 mg per dl. That will be very narrow range. So that is maintained by the different hormones like the parathyroid hormones, calcitriol and the calcitonin. Another function is the reproductions, like the sex hormones, which help in the reproductions, in the growth and development. There is a set of different hormones which is utilized for the productions, utilization, and the storage of the energy, which is directly related to the energy utilizations, productions, and the storage. For example, you can take insulin, glucagon, and the cortisols. So these are the hormones which is stored in the different form. Like if it is a glucose, stored in the form of glycogens. If it is a fat, the form of triglycerides. So that is held by the hormones known as the insulin, glucagon, and the cortisols. So these are the function of the hormones. So here you can see how the hormonal regulation systems, how it is regulated. So this is the gland cells from where hormone is synthesized. Okay, hormone is synthesized from the particular glands, and that release into the blood. And the blood, you can see one structures, that is a hormone carrier proteins, or you can say the transport proteins that help in the transport of the hormones. And that hormones is, it forms the M, that is a metabolites. Hormone metabolite is formed by acting on the substrate. It forms the some metabolites. Okay, that is also transported with the help of the carriers. Here you can see. Okay, so that hormones will go and bind to the target organs. So you can connect synthesis of from the one gland through the circulations. Then it is reached to the target cells where it have the physiological functions. Okay, where it shows the response. In the blood, it forms the metabolites. Okay, it forms the metabolites, and for that also this liver will help in the formation of the metabolites. Okay, these hormones act on the some of the substrate, it forms the metabolites. Okay, and again through the blood it will go to the different organs, and after its function is over, these hormones and the metabolites both will be excreted out through the kidney. You can see this diagram, the excretion part excreted through the kidney. So it is produced by the one glands. Through the blood, it reaches target organs. Once the function is over, it will be excreted out, or it will be destroyed with the help of different mechanisms. Okay, or you can say these metabolites are the excreted out. So this is regulatory systems, how hormone is synthesized, transported, metabolized, having the effects and the excretions. Okay. So now we will discuss regarding the classifications. Classification of the hormones. So hormones can be classified on the basis of the chemical states. So we'll discuss one by one on the basis of chemical state how it is classified, based on the mechanism of action how it is classified. Okay. So already some of you have answered based on the chemical structure by the Arun. Like protein and peptide hormones, steroid hormones, and amino acid derivatives. So in the protein and peptides, you can see the examples like the insulins, glucagon, parathyroid hormones, and the calcitonin. So these are the protein or peptide hormones, which is having the few amino acids like the insulin, glucagon. They have, okay. And the steroid hormones like the sex hormones, adrenocorticosteroid hormones. These are the example of the steroid hormones, which is synthesized from the cholesterol. So cholesterol is the precursor for the synthesis of steroid hormones. Some of the amino acids also help in the formation of few hormones like the epinephrine, non-epinephrine, and the thyroid. The main amino acid, the tyrosines, which help in the formation of these hormones like epinephrine, non-epinephrine. Okay. So another classification is based on the mechanism of action. So based on the mechanism of action, so hormone is classified into two groups like group 1 and the group 2. Okay, group 1 and 2. Before going to this bind to the intracellular receptors, so it is divided into two groups, class 1 and the class 2. So in the class 1, which can bind to the intracellular receptors, that is known as the class 1 hormones, and the class 2 the receptors. Okay, and there is the activation of the or release of the second messengers, and that have the physiological actions. So there is the two groups that we'll discuss later on. So in the group hormones, what I have listed, they act on the intracellular receptors. So this intracellular receptor, it might be the cytosolic or nuclear receptors. Either it present in the cytosol or in the nucleus. Okay, and hormone will go and bind to the either cytosolic or the nuclear receptors based on the type of hormones. Like the thyroid hormones, it will bind to the nuclear receptors. Okay, and these glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, this bind to the cytosolic receptor. So this will go and bind to the receptors which present in the nucleus or the cytosols, and it forms the complex hormone receptor. There will be the transcriptions, then translations, a specific protein will act. So we'll discuss with the diagram tomorrow how it acts through the intracellular receptors. Now, one what I said, that was it is present inside the cell, inside the cytosol in the nucleus. But the second group of hormones that bind to the receptors which present on the cell surface, present to the plasma membrane. Okay, it bind to the receptors which present the cell surface or the plasma membrane. Okay, so after that it acts through the different second messengers. There is a different second messengers, like you can say cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, calcium. So these all act as a second messengers. So after binding to the cell surface receptors or plasma membrane receptors, there is a release of the cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP or calciums, and that causes the physiological actions. Okay, so the hormones which act through second messengers is the cyclic AMP. So these are the hormones which utilize cyclic AMP as a second messengers for its functions, like calcitonin, antidiuretic hormones, glucagon, luteinizing hormones, thyroid stimulating hormones, melanocyte stimulating hormones, follicular stimulating hormones, adrenocorticotropic hormones. So these are the name of the hormones which use cyclic AMP as a second messengers and causes the physiological functions. So second group of hormones which use cyclic GMP as a second messengers, and those hormones are the arterial natriuretic use cyclic GMP as a second messengers and causes the physiological functions, physiological and metabolic functions. Okay, and the third group of in hormones like acetylcholine, angiotensin seconds, gastrin, oxytocins, thyroid releasing hormones, chronotyping releasing hormones. So these uses calcium or phosphatidylcholine ionocytals or both as a second messengers. Okay, so these are act through the either as calcium and the phosphatidyl ionocytal as the second messengers and causes the metabolic and the physiological functions. So before it was using the cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, and this group of enzymes they use this calcium and the phosphatidyl ionocytal as a second messenger. Examples like the kinase or phosphatase. This cascade is used as the second messenger and cause epidermal growth factor, insulin like growth factor 1 and 2. So these are the few hormones. Enzymes are required for the functioning of these hormones. Because these hormones, whatever you have discussed, which bind to the cell surface receptor, it will not go, it will not work directly. Okay, so there is a receptor conformational changes in that receptors, or there is some proteins which will be activated, or like these enzymes. Okay, hormones. Okay, so here I said before there are two groups of enzymes, like group 1 and or class 1 and class 2 enzymes, group 1 or group 2 enzymes. Like we'll say the types, it is steroid hormones and the thyroid hormones, calcitonin, these are the examples. And group 2, protein, peptide, glycoprotein, catecholamines, that comes under the group 2 hormone. That means you can say it is a water insoluble, it is a water soluble. Transport proteins are insoluble, so it requires the transport protein which can transport the that hormones to the target organ. But group 2, it is a water soluble, so there is no transport protein is required. Half-life, plasma half-life is very long, you can say, over to the days for the group 1 hormones like the steroid hormones, calcitriol and all. And for the group 2, as it is a protein or peptide hormones, so it is a very less, it is in the minutes. It is remain in the minutes in the plasma. Receptors, as I said before, it acts through the intracellular receptor, that is a group 1. And the plasma membrane or cell surface receptors required for the group 2 classes of hormones. Mediators, uh, receptor and hormone complex, that is a mediator for the group 1, and for the group 2 it is a second messenger. The second messenger which just now we have discussed above, like cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, calcium, metabolites complex of the phosphoinositals and the kinase and phosphatase cascades. So through the second messenger only this group 2 enzyme will functions. Okay, and for the group 1 this receptor and hormone complex, that is enough for its functions. Okay, so this is a difference between group 1 and group 2 hormones. So here you can see in this diagram what I want to say is hormonal involvement in response to the stimulus. Okay, it requires the stimulus. So you can see here recognitions, hormone release, signal generations, and okay, the stimulus is required. After that, there is a hormone release based on the stimulus. Either group 1 or group 2 hormones will release. Once the hormones of group 1 or group 2 is released, there is a signal generations. So it forms the hormone receptor complex, or it acts through the different second messengers. So hormone receptor complex, it causes the gene transcriptions, then translation, and a specific protein forms. This is the major way through that this group 1 works. And this also acts through the transporters on the throughout channels, like the ion channels, transporters and the ion channels, protein translocation or protein modifications. Because this acts through the second messengers like cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, calcium, kinase or phosphatase cascades. So it can causes the like gene transcriptions, transporter protein modification, the transporter proteins, ion channels either close or open, protein translocations, and the protein modifications. So for all this, what you need is first is the recognition, second is the hormone release, third is the signals, and fourth one is the effects. Okay, fourth one is the effects. So the stimulus is very much important for the hormone actions, which hormones to release, that decided by the stimulus. So now we can see the like group 1 hormones, they are derived from the cholesterols. They are the cholesterol derivatives. Mainly the cholesterol derivatives, like you can see here, estradiol, testosterone, cortisols, progesterone, and cholecalciferols, or you can say the vitamin D3. These are derivatives of the cholesterol. So steroid hormones, sex hormones, they are derived from the cholesterols. Second part is that is the amino acid derivatives. So the main amino acid that I said, it is the tyrosines. From that you can get the epinephrine, non-epinephrines. These are the hormones which is derived from the tyrosine, which is the amino acids. So another is the peptide of the various size. Okay, different peptide you can say, like the even the insulin, glucagon, thyrotropin releasing hormone, ACTH. So these are the peptide derivatives in the different sites. So based on the number of these amino acids which is the attached, so like the ACTH is having the 39 amino acids. Okay, like thyrotropin releasing hormone having only the 3 amino acids. So these are the peptides. Insulin, glucagon having only the 29 amino acids. So like that, they are the peptides. There are the few hormones, which is the glycoproteins, like thyroid stimulating hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormones. They are the glycoproteins. So you can say it is a protein hormones. Example is the thyroid stimulating hormones, follicular stimulating hormones, and the luteinizing hormones. And it has the two subunits you can see for all this, like the TSH, FSH, and ALH, common alpha subunits and having the unique beta subunits. And this beta subunit will decide the function of this particular hormones. So that we'll discuss in the pituitary hormones when we'll be discussing the pituitary, and that time we'll discuss how this beta subunits related to the function of this each hormones. So these are the derivatives from where hormone will be comes, like the cholesterols, tyrosine derivatives, peptides, and the glycoproteins. Today, the final one, that is the receptors. For target cells, the hormone will not work. For its functions, it requires the receptors, which is present on the target cells. So these receptors are the molecules within or on the surface of the target cells, and that binds a hormone with the high affinity, with the high specificity, and mediate the biological response. So these receptors bind to the hormone with a high affinity and with high specificity. After that, only it can initiate and mediate the biological functions. So it indicates these receptors are very much important for the hormone functions. So hormones will only produce the response in the cells. Only target cells respond to the hormones that have the specific receptors. If cell do not have the receptors, hormone cannot bind, and there is no function of that hormones on that cells. So the cells to get the function by the hormones, the particular receptor is required. Otherwise it will not act on that target cells. So this receptor is very much important for that particular hormones on that target cells. So you can see here the example how these hormones can bind with the high affinity and specificity of to that receptor. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6. This is the type of the cell. The cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, 4, and 5, which having the different receptors. So you can see in the cell 1 there is no receptors. Receptor is not present in the receptors. Okay, this type of rectangular type of receptors, and 3 having the 2 receptors. One is a round one, you can say, one is a rectangular type of. Okay, and the 4th having the receptors, 5th also having the receptors, and 6th also having the receptors. So now, as I said before, to this specific receptor, only a specific type of hormones can bind. So like in the cell 1, there is no receptor, so hormones cannot bind to the cell type 1. But cell type 2, only this type of rectangular type of hormones can come and bind, which is a particular for this cell type 2. In the 3, 2 hormones can bind to the cell type 3. One is a round one, what is a triangular hormones, the shape of the triangular hormones, and the round one which can bind to the cell 3. And to the cell 4, the cell type 4, receptor is present, but the hormones which is present here, which is not able to bind here because it does not contain that type of shape. That type of shape is not present here. Okay, so it will not bind to this cell type 4, even though the receptor is present, but it is not specific for these hormones. None of these hormones having the shape like this to that the cell type 4 can bind. So here also it cannot bind. In the 5th and 6th, the particular hormones can bind. So from this diagram, what I want to say is these hormones only bind to those cell type or target cells where it having the specific receptors. Otherwise, it will not bind. The specific receptor is not present, it will not bind to that particular cell type. So there is a different type of receptors, which is divided different group for the signal transduction process. Okay, there is mainly 3 types you can say, that ion channel link receptors. Then second is the G protein link receptors, and the third one is enzyme link receptors. So they have divided the 3 groups: ion channel link receptors, G protein link receptors, and enzyme linked receptors. So what is this ion channel link receptor does? So virtually all the neurotransmitters, such as the acetylcholine, if that causes the changes in the structure of the receptors, usually either open or close the channel for one or this acetylcholine. Just to take the example of acetylcholine, which bind to the receptor present on the postsynaptic membrane, and that causes the changes in that receptors and opens the ion. Another is a G protein link receptors. So here there is a protein that is known as the G proteins, which is linked to these hormone receptors. So the many have hormones act through these G protein link receptors. Okay, and this G proteins having, it is known as the heterodimer GTP binding proteins. Okay, that indirectly regulates the activity of target proteins. So as I said, the hormones of group 2, it will not go and directly act on the target cells. It will bind to the receptors, and that receptors either act through these ion channels or G protein link receptors, and there is a changes in the activity of that target cells. So target protein will be formed, and that causes the function of the target cells. So these G proteins, there we can say there is more than thousands G proteins coupled receptors. More than thousands G protein coupled receptor is identified. They have the 7 transmembrane segments, and that have the loop in and out of the cell membranes. Thus you'll see the diagram how it will be these 7 transmembrane segment is present. That is acted through the G proteins. So you can see this diagram. I think you have not forgotten this structure. This is the plasma membrane. Okay, plasma membrane also to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is a 7 transmembrane segments. Okay, and this is N terminal, this is the C terminals. Okay, N terminal and C terminals is present. So you can see the intracellular domains. Okay, there is a 3 domains for these receptors: extracellular domains, transmembrane domains, which have been the 7 transmembrane segments, and the intracellular domains. So hormones will bind to the extracellular domains. Okay, there is a changes, the signal will pass and it reaches to the intracellular domains, and which causes the changes in this G proteins. Okay, G protein will be activated. As I said, it is bind to the GTP. So here you can see in the more specific. So this is the inactive form of the G proteins, having the 7 transmembrane segments, extracellular domains, and the intracellular domains. And here you can see that this is a G protein which is binding to the GDP. When it is inactive, it is having the alpha, beta, and gamma subunits. So it is bind to the membrane and is a GDP bond. And this is the enzymes that will come We'll talk later on. So here, once the hormones bind to this extracellular domains, there is a changes in the intracellular domains that causes the activation of the G proteins. That means this alpha subunit will be detached, and this GDP is converted into the GTP. And now this complex will go and bind to the this inactive enzymes, which is present on the cell membranes. So now this enzyme will be active. Okay, and this will be causes the changes in the activity of the different proteins. So after this enzyme will act on the different proteins, and a specific protein will be formed. Okay, so inactive enzyme will become the actives, and a specific protein will be formed, and that causes the physiological actions. So that will be discussed on the next class, how it will act. So what is the mechanism of action through the G protein? Now just you remember, this is the transmembrane segments, 7 transmembrane segments, which is required in the G protein coupled receptors. So the last one, enzyme linked hormone receptors. So there is some enzyme is involved. Okay, so some enzymes, when activated, function directly as or are closely associated with the enzymes that they activate. So one example you can see is the leptin receptors, even the insulin receptors. So there are the enzyme links, like the phosphatase enzyme tyrosine bind to the leptin receptors, and these leptin receptors act through the some enzymes like tyrosine kinase enzymes and later the phosphatase enzymes. So in the next class we'll discuss how this leptin act through this leptin. Okay. So for that enzyme, as I told, for the leptin, like there is a 2 hormones you can see here, extracellular domains, transmembrane domains, and the intracellular domains. So once the hormones will bind to that, let's take the example of growth hormones, which bind to this one domain, that is extracellular domains. So that is a dimerization of these 2 receptors. So this receptor will dimerize. So you can see here, these 2 receptors come together and forms the dimerized receptors, and which is the active form. So later on you can see, after the dimerizations, the other substance will come and bind. So this intracellular domain will be activated. After the dimerizations, this intracellular domain will be activated. So how it will be activated, you can say the phosphorylated. Due to the tyrosine kinase enzyme, it is a phosphorylated. Okay, and at the phosphorylated, some other compound will come and bind, other protein will come and bind, like the genus kinase. This is the one enzymes which will be activated here, which will come and bind here. Okay, and this phosphorylated subunits is required for the physiological functions. There is a change in the proteins. The specific protein will be formed by this process, and this causes the physiological functions. So in this way, by the enzymes which is present in the intracellular domains, that will be activated after binding of these hormones. So this is the end of the class. So today, on the brief, just I will say the summary of the today class. So today we'll discuss what is the hormones, like definition of the hormones, how it is defined. So there is a classical definitions, modern class definitions, like based on the chemical nature, mechanism of actions, and the anatomical positions. And you have gone through the individual classification of the each hormones. And later on, you have discussed regarding the receptors, which is required for the function of that particular hormones. So this is all regarding the introduction to the hormones. And the next class will discuss only the mechanism of actions. Just today, whatever you have discussed, like act through the intracellular receptors, act through the second messenger, like saying. So only that part, how it acts through the all this intracellular receptors and the second messengers. So do you have any doubt? Any doubt do you have till now? If you have any doubt, you can drop the message or you can ask directly. This is all regarding the today class. Any doubt?